All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, with television ratings reportedly down so far for the NBA this season, it's safe to say that this league has a problem. Not a money problem, because the networks continue to pony up the bread, but the NBA does have an issue, in my opinion, and it is the product that they are dribbling out onto the court. Uh, you think about so many different issues, in my opinion, that the NBA has right now. Load management, okay, is hurting this league. I mean, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver knows it. He's tried to fix it, but it ain't working. I mean, we're talking about now making it mandatory, or they have made it mandatory. The players have to play at least 65 games to be eligible for individual awards such as NBA MVP. You think about this joke, and I know that the Bucks won it this year, and there's no disrespect to them, but this joke that is the end season tournament to incentivize the players. I mean, and you also think about the playing tournament, um, like but basically before the start of the postseason. I mean, it's stuff that's out there to kind of drum up interest. I think personally, I think the play-in tournament is a joke, and I've always felt like that, just due to the fact that hey, you've got 82 games to figure out who are the best teams from each conference in order to get to the postseason. I mean, this garbage about an in-season tournament as well. I mean, it's laughable. Okay, and at the same time, in my opinion, it's sad. I've said this before and I will say it again. The players as a whole do not respect Adam Silver. Silver has tried too hard, in my opinion, to go out there and be a players commissioner, and also talking about partnership with the players. And look at what it has gotten him, a watered down product. Now, I know as far as ratings being down, some might say that, hey, cable television is dying, this, that, and the third. That probably is a part of it. I'm not going to sit up here and act like it isn't. There are people who are leaning towards the streaming platforms. There are also people who are not leaning towards streaming platforms as well. But at the end of the day, regardless if it's cable or streaming platform, you have to give people a reason to tune in. And the NBA, to me, has not done that, whether it's in person or it's on television or computer or phone, wherever, because you look at the prices. The average fan does not want to pay for tickets to watch backups play because the stars of a certain team or both teams decide to sit out, or teams decide to have said stars sit out. And, it's one of those scenarios where some of these teams, based on who they are playing or who they are hosting for that night, those ticket prices might go up. So, you paid your money to see a Steph Curry and Steph Curry is not playing. You paid your money to see a LeBron and LeBron is not playing. You paid your money to see a Luka Doncic or a Jimmy Butler, whomever else, or Kevin Durant, and they are not playing. You don't get that money back. And it's one of those, you can fool people a couple of times, but if you keep on fooling them, hey, what can you say? But nonetheless, the quality of the NBA product is not good right now. You think about all of the three-point shots, and I've said this multiple times, and I'll continue to say it. And I've been saying it for the past couple of seasons. Honestly, watching an NBA game right now takes me back to my college days when 10 of us would get on the court, we'd run up and down and play intramurals, and it's basically whoever got the ball, they were taking the shot, regardless of where they were on the court. That's what the NBA basketball has become right now. You see players, a bulk of the players in the league right now, that lack fundamentals at both ends of the court. You see players who don't know how to run a pick and roll. You see players defensively who don't know how to defend a pick and roll. You see guys who don't know how to box out for a rebound, whether at the offensive end of the court or the defensive end of the court. I feel like rebounding stats and assist are so skewed right now because most rebounds are the result of simply whoever's closest to the basket is jumping up, or not even, some cases, not even jumping up because there's nobody else around him. on the court, and the ball just happens to go in his hands. Same thing with the assist. How many times are we seeing like shots to basket not being defended anymore? Because basically, the NBA through analytics has, for the all intents purposes, eliminated the big man, especially at the defensive end of the floor. I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. The NBA has a lot of problems. A 3-point shot right now, and it's one of those where if you can take the time to teach a 7-footer how to take a 3-point shot, you can also take the time to teach that 7-footer how to play the post. And there's a lot of big men in the NBA right now, plain and simple, who don't know how to play the post, whether at the offensive end or the defensive end. You see guys when they're getting the ball in quote unquote post position, okay, they're out on the perimeter. You have to work and get close to that paint as possible, establish yourself, and then you turn around and you're right at the basket. You think about some of the great post players in NBA history: Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal, Moses Malone, Bob Lanier. They were artists, okay, as far as getting close to that basket, posting up, and when they turned around, plain and simple, you could not stop them. Okay, and that's just some of the great big men that have played in the NBA over the years. You think about it, the lack of a mid-range game, and again, it comes back to the fundamentals. It's at the NBA level, it's at the college level, it's at the AAU level, it's at the high school level. But the bottom line is fundamentals have gone from the game, and they've ruined it. It's basically, for the most part, every team out there trying to run the same offense. Basically, you're bringing it up the court. Everybody's standing around the perimeter, and then from there, you know what? Somebody's going to hold the ball for about 10 or 15 seconds within the possession, and then they're going to shoot. And so many ill-advised shots that make no sense. You got guys taking 40-foot threes at the end of the day that are a detriment to the team, and they keep chucking up threes. I'm like, you know, it's one of those where, okay, you're taking 10 or 12 threes per person a game, but then you're only making one or two. So what's the purpose of that shot? You think about the 3-on-1 or the 2-on-1 fast break. It was all about putting pressure on that defender to commit. And you're helping him out if you're running a 3-on-1 fast break, and then everybody's setting up at the 3-point line. And of course, if you miss the shot, then guess what? The defense has an easy rebound, and we're going in the opposite direction to try to score there. Flopping, guys just living at the free throw line, the stop and go pace of the game. It's a lot of things that are hurting the NBA. Should they bring back hand checking? That was something that was taken out of the NBA more than 30 years ago. Okay, you look at it, the All Star game has become an absolute joke for the National Basketball Association. The players simply do not care. Now they've done away with the East West format. Honestly, I'm of the mindset, just do what the NFL did. Just cancel it. Worry about your skills competition. People will show up for that. Guys will play hard for that, whether it's the slam dunk contest, the 3-point shootout, which anybody in the league could participate in now, the skills competition, you name it. But nonetheless, even with the slam dunk contest has lost a lot of its sizzle for a variety of reasons. Number one, the stars do not participate in the slam dunk contest like they did once upon a time. Then on top of that, social media is taken away from that because you have professional dunkers out there on YouTube, and we see the things that the mascots uh do, throughout, the contest, for fans and stuff like that. And to me, I think all of that's taken away from it. There's a competitive uh aspect that I think that is lost from today's NBA. I know Magic Johnson touched upon it recently on TV when he said the guys don't hate each other. It's one of those where you'll have guys out there that they might score 35 points, but then they don't mind if the guy who they're guarding scores 30 as well, and they're just going at it. But there's no uh, defensive instinct. Okay, there's no killer instinct at the defensive end of the floor where basically you want to score 35 or 40 points, but you want to slow that guy down, who you're trying to guard as well. So some people might feel that the NBA season, the regular season, is too long. It's not that it's too long, okay? But it's the fact that the players nowadays, or the bulk of them, have shown that simply they don't care about it. So why should the fans? And I mean, we see guys who take it up to a next level during the postseason if they get that far. But the bottom line is, a lot of these guys simply don't care. Now, Christmas Day is next Wednesday. Christmas Day has been the NBA's exclusive province, and it's one of their marquee days of the year. But the NFL is beginning to squeeze them out of that because, the National Football League basically no stone is unturned as they are searching for money. And guess what? They're going to get it. And people are not talking about the NBA. People are not focused on the NBA like they once were. I know that the new television package is about to begin next season with NBC, Peacock, Amazon, and ESPN. But honestly, I felt like for several years now that the NBA puts too much of their product out there. And I say because it's one of those where, they have their doubleheader usually on Thursday nights and Tuesday nights on TNT, a couple of nights a week on ESPN. And then once football season is over, basically you're going to see NBA games almost every Sunday afternoon on ABC. But nonetheless, there was a time when all of those slots mentioned were for either marquee teams or potential playoff teams. And too often, the NBA is trying to put every team on there. And the average fan, the casual fan, doesn't want to see every team. They want to see the marquee players. They want to see the stars. And again, if the stars are not going to show up, why are people going to pay for your product? For me, I just feel like the NBA's new media deal is not helping things. And the reason is because they're getting more money. And the reason why I say this is because you already have a league with the bulk of the guys who are getting paid handsomely, and then they still don't want to show up and go out there and compete. They still don't want to show up and go out there and play. So my point is this: giving them more money now is not going to make that problem go away. It's going to make that problem even worse. And some people want to talk about the old school NBA versus a new school NBA, but at the end of the day, say what you want. Those plumbers, they showed up to work and they made the NBA what it is today. Okay, it's like you got a bulk of the league right now playing like they're simply entitled to be out there in the National Basketball Association. And in some senses, in my opinion, agree with me or not, disagree with me or not, it's all good. They ain't earned it. Okay, and to me, no disrespect, but I feel like some of the players today, they're too business savvy and worried about their own personal brands. I get it that, you want to look at other ventures out there, but then what about the product at hand? A lot of guys want to be compensated like they're the man, but they don't want the responsibility that comes along with it. Some might ask, is there need for NBA expansion? I know the NBA is going to look for it. They do deserve a team in Seattle. The folks there definitely do. They're probably looking at, Vegas, as that's now a hotbed, this, that, and the third. But of course, expanding the NBA, unfortunately, is only going to continue to water down the product because you're going to have more teams, more players out there. And at the end of the day, the quality of your product simply is not good right now. So the question is going to be, will Adam Silver and the NBA be able to get ahead of these issues? I really was wondering what the new media deal was going to look like. And the fact that they're getting more money for a worse product is not helping the scenario. But if ratings are down, they're going to have to find a way to do something about it. It's not just ratings. If attendance is down as well, I'm not sure about that, so I'm not going to speculate. But nonetheless, the NBA does have a problem. It's one of those where you think about it, there are a lot of people who tuned into Major League Baseball during the postseason in October, and of course, basically from August on, the talk on a lot of people's mind has been football, whether it's been college or the pros. We've got the college football playoff, which is about to kick off tomorrow. We've still got 3 more weeks in the regular season of the National Football League before they get to the postseason. They're looking to expand their league, is pushing it more and more into February. And I think with all of that said, with everything I mentioned, it's going to have less and less people talking about the NBA. It's one of those where the league, like I said, I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. They've got a problem, and they had an image problem in the '70s, and for drugs, totally different issue. But they just have a problem right now because guys, plain and simple, do not care. And if they don't care, how can they expect the fans to care as well? It's basically, again, it's a glorified 3-point fest. There's no fundamentals. Okay, there's no mid-range game. There's no defense. You have no team in the NBA giving up less than 100 points when basically, there was a time, and I'm not trying to sound like an old man here, but there was a time when, scoring 100 points in an NBA game was a big thing. Okay. It's an absolute joke right now. And I hope that Adam Silver and company get wind of this and they try to get ahead of their problems. Will it happen? Will the NBA be able to fix some of these issues? Only time will tell. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.